So one of the things I wanted to explain in this second part is how I paint my track, and I think that's always a good thing to do. Painting your track gives you a much more realistic scenery level. I know a lot of people don't paint their track, and of course a lot of people do, and there's a lot of YouTube videos on how to paint track, and any one of them is just as good as the other one. You know, this is what works best for you. This is the way I do it. So what I do is I take my track outside, get a few spray cans of paint, and what I really like to do is use Rust-Oleum paint, and they've got a gray primer that's a self-etching primer, and that saves you a lot of time having a self-etching primer, because what's going to happen is it's going to make a good bond to the ties, not only the plastic but also to the rails. So I take that gray self-etching primer, plus it gives you a good base coat with a little more highlight if you do it right. So I've got that gray self-etching primer that I spray on the track, and I actually did a pack of 25 Flex Track and 10 switches in about 15 minutes using this method, so it's pretty fast as well. So I took the gray primer, sprayed all the track down, gave it a few minutes to dry, and then I came along with Camouflage Brown, which I think is about the best color you're going to get for the creosote ties. So I came along with that Camouflage Brown, sprayed over the gray. Sometimes I hit it a little light, you know, just so there's some extra color in there. If you look in nature, that's one thing you want to do, is get as many colors involved as possible, because there's so many in nature. So when you get after you get the Camouflage Brown down, then I came along from about 2 feet above and misted it with some ultra flat black. So that just gave another layer of color is all it did. And coming from that high, the paint's going to dry before it hits the ties. But it's just going to, as you handle the ties and rub it in, a lot of it's going to come off, but it gives you some more highlights. So that's the way I do it. Once I get it in here, before I lay it, I will paint the rails. Now, I've never found a real good color for rails, so what I did is I went and picked up a spike off of the railroad track. And as you can see, I tried different splotches of rust color until I got the right color. And this, you know, the color you like is up to you, because there's so many varying colors of rust. I took the darker brown part of this spike, and what I did, I just kept painting on it until I got the color that matched the best. So what I ended up doing is about a 1-to-1 mix of Testor's Rust and Olive Drab, and then with a little black added to darken it, and that gave me about the perfect rail color. Now I could keep mixing and getting varying colors that way around my entire layout. I'm going to have a little bit of variance in the colors, which is exactly what you see on the prototype. So I just come along with a number 4 brush along the rails and paint them. The number 4 brush gets the tie plates, and it's done as quickly as that. And the way I clean the top of the rails after everything's dry is I will come along with a palm sander and 600 grit sandpaper and just run over the rails, and that in about 5 minutes I had this entire thing done. All my switches, everything. So it doesn't take that long, and a lot of people say, oh, you can't use sandpaper on rails, but I've never had any problem with it. So but the one thing you must do is you must clean them meticulously. After you sand off the top of the rails, I come back along with some paint thinner on a rag and run it along the top of the rails. I come along with alcohol. I polish it with a Bright Boy. I just keep it as clean as I can. And that's all you need to do. As long as the top of the rails are clean, you're not going to have any problem running your trains. So that's the method I use. You can use other methods that are recommended on YouTube. I think all of them are great. So it's just how you want to do it. That's what I do because for me, I got the best color. And once I ballast everything, that's going to add another level of color. So, and when I ballast, I use multicolors of ballast. I don't use just gray or just brown. I will actually combine them to get a color that I want, that I believe looks the most prototypical. Depends on what part of the country you're in as well, as to what ballast looks best. So you, whatever part of the country you're modeling, don't be afraid to blend colors, you know. Get gray and brown and buff and all the different ones. A lot of times you can do, I've made my own ballast by going out to the railroad track and picking some up and then crushing rocks. So however you want to do it. But anyway, that's my update for today. That's what I've started on. This is going to be the Hope sub that runs from Minden to Shreveport on the Louisiana and Arkansas KCS. And once I get a little bit further along, I'll do another video. Thanks everybody, and if you put like and add a comment if you have it, and subscribe. So thanks a lot for watching.